Welcome to my YouTube channel, Dreamify Animation. Today, I bring you a deeply emotional and mysterious tale, a story wrapped in magic, memory, and the unseen threads that tie us to one another. Let's dive into a forgotten world where a single candle glows, not with flame, but with sorrow, in a quiet village nestled between two nameless hills, where fog clings to chimneys like old ghosts, and the wind whispers names long erased, lived a child named Elian. Elian had no siblings, and his parents were quiet people, soft-spoken farmers who rose with the sun and slept with the stars. The village was small and seemingly ordinary, but just beyond the northern woods, at the edge of the world as far as Elian knew, stood a ruined chapel. The villagers warned against going near it, claiming it was cursed, that strange lights flickered. At night, and odd weeping sounds could be heard near the ruins. But Elian had always been curious, always drawn to places where silence screamed louder than words. One chilly autumn evening, just as the sun dipped below the hills and the sky turned a bruised shade of purple, Elian wandered into the woods, following the call of a distant sound, not quite wind, not quite voice, something in between. It pulled at him like a whisper echoing in his bones. And there, hidden beneath ivy and ash, he found the chapel. Its windows were shattered, its stones cracked and crawling with moss. But at the center of its ruined altar sat something glowing faintly. A candle. It wasn't like any candle he'd ever seen. The wax was a translucent pearl grey, and its flame burned blue, not hot, but cold. It gave off no heat, and the air around it felt still, frozen in time. As Elian stepped closer, the sound became clearer. Someone was crying. Not loudly, but softly, with such sorrow that it shook something deep in his chest. He looked around, but saw no one. The candle flickered, and in its glow, shadows danced on the broken walls. Faces of people Elian didn't know. Men, women, children, each one etched in sadness, as if they were caught in their final moments. Elian reached out, and the moment his fingers touched the base of the candle, he was overwhelmed by images. Memories that weren't his. A girl clutching a doll as she waited for parents who never returned. A boy left behind in an orphanage, never adopted, staring longingly through a rain-smeared window. An old man dying alone in a hospital room, his name forgotten by even the nurses. The souls of forgotten people. He stumbled back, breathless, heart pounding. Then he understood the candle burned only for those who had been completely forgotten. Not dead, no. Dead people still had graves. Memories, names in someone's heart. But these were people erased from time, from memory, from love. The candle cried for them, held their sorrow, and in some way, kept them alive, trapped in that flickering glow. Elian couldn't leave it. He took the candle carefully in both hands and whispered, "I remember you." The flame flickered higher, and for a moment, he thought he saw the faintest smile among the shadows. He carried it home and hid it in the attic, a space no one used, a place quiet and dark enough for the candle's mourning. Each night he returned, watched the faces shift, and listened to the soft sobs. It haunted him, yes, but more than that, it moved him. These weren't monsters. They were people who had simply been forgotten. Elian began to sketch them. He wrote their names when the candle revealed them. He started visiting old records in the village archives, going through dusty birth books and grave registries. Many of the names didn't exist. Some were partially erased. A few he found, faded and unclaimed. He spent weeks searching, researching, sometimes traveling on foot to nearby towns, asking questions others had stopped asking long ago. And slowly, something extraordinary happened. One night, as he lit the candle and whispered a name he had traced to a forgotten grave in a nearby village, the flame fled bright gold for the first time. A face appeared clear, peaceful, and then faded. The candle wept, but the crying stopped. A soul had moved on. Ilian realized then that remembering them, saying their names, honoring their stories, that was the key. That was how they could be freed, so he made it his mission. He would go from place to place, looking for the lost, listening for echoes of those who had been erased. A young woman who had vanished during wartime, her picture buried in a chest. An old teacher no one remembered, her grave overgrown and nameless. A homeless man once known for singing to children, now only a rumor in an alleyway. Each time Ilian honored a soul, the candle grew lighter, the sobs quieter, and one more face would smile and disappear. But the candle was vast, infinite perhaps. It burned with the weight of centuries, of entire lifetimes lost beneath history's heavy foot. And yet, Ilian didn't stop. Years passed, he grew older. His hair darkened, then grayed. But his eyes held the same determination. Eventually, Ilian began telling their stories. Not just to passers-by or in records, but through stories, art, letters. He filled books with their memories, painted murals of their faces, taught children about the importance of remembrance. And something magical happened in return. Others began to remember, too. The flame of the candle, once ghostly and mournful, now pulsed with a warm golden glow. It no longer cried, it sang. The souls inside were no longer trapped, but honored, yet. One night, as Ilian sat beside the candle in his attical frail, but content, the flame flickered violently. Not in sorrow, in gratitude. And then he saw something he had never seen before. His own face, reflected in the glassy wax. The candle had not forgotten him, for he, too, was once a child ignored by the world, lonely, silent, almost invisible. But he had given himself to memory. In remembering others, he had ensured he would never be truly forgotten. The next morning, the villagers found the attic empty, save for the candle, still glowing gently. They found his journals, his sketches, and they shared them with the world. A small museum was built in the village. Visitors came from across the land to light candles for those they had lost. The candle that Ilian had carried was placed in the center, burning eternally, not for the forgotten, but for the remembered. And now, every year on the longest night of winter, the villagers hold a festival of light. Each person carries a small candle and whispers the name of someone they want to remember, whether from family, history, or just a fleeting story heard long ago. The sky fills with stars, both above and below, as memory glows brighter than any sorrow. So if ever you find yourself wandering near a ruined place, and you hear the soft sound of crying wind, look closely. There might be a candle waiting. And if you listen carefully, if you speak a name with love, you might just help a soul find peace. Because sometimes the smallest flame can burn away the deepest darkness. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone you want to remember. And always, always light a candle for the forgotten. They're only truly gone when we stop remembering. See you next time on Dreamify Animation.